3 proteins you should consume, and 3 you should never touch, together with high creatinine. Do you have elevated creatinine levels? Or are you attempting to prevent further damage to your kidneys? What if you knew that the proteins you consume on a daily basis may either assist your kidneys recover or subtly exacerbate the condition? Not all proteins are made equal, particularly when it comes to kidney health, something that most people are unaware of. While some are light, clean, and good for your kidneys, others are like little ninjas that cause stress, increase your creatinine, and hasten kidney damage over time. In this video, we'll show you which 3 proteins are healthiest for your kidneys and which ones you should absolutely stay away from. And believe us, you may be genuinely surprised by some of these. It's crucial to comprehend the significance of this topic, particularly if you have renal issues or a high creatinine, before diving into the list of good and bad proteins. One of the most vital nutrients for our bodies is protein. It maintains us robust and active, boosts our immune system, and aids in muscle growth and repair. Protein is necessary for the healthy operation of every single cell in your body. Thus, protein is a necessary component of our diet. However, things change when your kidneys aren't functioning properly. This is because our bodies break down protein when we eat it, and creatinine is one of the waste products that is produced. Your kidneys typically filter creatinine from your blood and eliminate it through urine. However, your kidneys might not be able to perform this function effectively if you have kidney problems or excessive creatinine levels. Consequently, your blood begins to accumulate creatinine, which is a bad indicator. This is when things become complicated. Protein is still necessary for good health, but consuming too much of the wrong kind of protein might actually worsen the condition. It raises blood waste, strains your kidneys harder, and over time, it may potentially hasten kidney damage. Because of this, it's critical to select protein types that will meet your body's demands without taxing your kidneys. Equally essential, you should avoid specific protein types because they can cause your creatinine levels to rise even further. Without further ado, let's begin with the proteins you should consume if you have renal issues or elevated creatinine levels. In addition to being safer options, these are also wise, healthy, and kidney-friendly. Egg whites are at the top of our list. Indeed, only the whites, not the entire egg. You may be asking yourself, isn't the yolk the portion of the egg that contains the most of the nutrients? Indeed, you are entirely correct. Vitamins A, D, E, and K are among the vital nutrients found in the yolk, along with antioxidants and good lipids. This is where it becomes complicated, though. Although yolks are rich in nutrients, they are also a very high source of saturated fat, cholesterol, and phosphorus. And those 3 can be particularly dangerous if you have a kidney condition of any kind or a high creatinine. First, let's talk about phosphorus. It is an essential mineral that promotes energy production and keeps bones healthy. However, your kidneys cannot effectively eliminate extra phosphorus from the blood when they are not functioning properly. When that excess phosphorus begins to accumulate, it becomes hazardous. In kidney patients, elevated phosphorus levels can cause calcium to be drawn out of the bones, leaving them brittle and feeble. To make matters worse, it may result in calcium buildup in the blood vessels. In addition to causing issues with the heart, lungs, blood vessels, and eyes, cholesterol can increase the risk of heart disease, bone disease, and other disorders to which renal patients are already more susceptible. Controlling phosphorus is therefore one of the most important aspects of renal health management. Additionally, egg yolks are not the ideal option here due to their relatively high phosphorus content. Let's now discuss cholesterol. In particular, dietary cholesterol derived from eggs and other animal products. The body's blood fat balance frequently becomes unmanageable when kidney disease occurs. Increased levels of low-density lipoprotein, commonly known as bad cholesterol, may result from this. High-density lipoprotein, or good cholesterol, levels may decrease concurrently. Heart disease is a leading cause of mortality for individuals with renal illness, and this imbalance raises your risk of developing it. A single egg yolk has roughly 185 milligrams of cholesterol, which is a concentrated amount for anyone with renal or cholesterol issues. Egg whites, on the other hand, are a protein source that is good for the kidneys and heart because they have no cholesterol at all. Saturated fat comes next. This kind of fat causes inflammation, increases low-density lipoprotein cholesterol levels, and strains the cardiovascular system. Saturated fats can exacerbate insulin resistance and cause weight gain in those with impaired renal function, both of which are long-term risks. There is no saturated fat in the egg white, but there is a sizable amount in the yolk. What do egg whites produce then? You receive complete, high-quality protein, which includes all 9 of the key amino acids your body requires for hormone regulation, immune system support, muscle repair, and other processes. All of it is provided without the additional burden of dangerous fats, cholesterol, or phosphorus. For those with elevated creatinine levels or deteriorating kidney function, egg whites are a clean, safe, and dependable protein because of this. How much ought one to consume now? 2 to 4 egg whites a day can be a wonderful approach to meet your protein needs without going overboard for most people with mild to moderate kidney problems. Before establishing a daily goal, consult your healthcare physician or renal dietitian, as the precise amount is always dependent on your specific dietary plan and the stage of your kidney disease. Use low-fat and low-sodium preparation techniques. They can be boiled, steamed, scrambled with heart-healthy oils or spices, or blended into oatmeal or smoothies for an added protein boost. Simply avoid frying, butter, and cheese, as these merely contribute extra salt and fat. Liquid egg whites in cartons are a fantastic choice if you value convenience. Just confirm that the label states that it contains only 100% egg whites and no other substances. For optimal quality and safety, keep them in the refrigerator and, after opening, try to use them within a week. If separated at home, fresh egg whites should be utilized within 2 to 4 days. Additionally, always cook the egg whites before consuming them. A protein called avidin, which is present in raw egg whites, can prevent biotin, an essential B vitamin, from being absorbed. Cooking renders the egg whites safe and completely advantageous by destroying avidin. Now, if you have excessive creatinine levels or other renal issues, let's move on to the second protein on our list of healthy proteins. For many people, this is their go-to protein option, and when made properly, it may be one of your best protein choices. We are discussing chicken breast without skin. On the surface, chicken breast may appear to be just another straightforward choice. Here's the problem, though. Even the most straightforward foods require cautious selection when your kidneys are not performing at their peak. Additionally, skinless chicken breast meets all the requirements. It's a high-quality, lean protein that provides your body with the building blocks it needs for strength, energy, and muscle repair without overtaxing your kidneys. Muscle breakdown, or catabolism, is one of the main issues that patients with kidney difficulties deal with. To assist sustain muscular mass and avoid weakness, the body then needs additional protein. For that, a skinless chicken breast can be helpful. It offers what is referred to be complete protein, which is made up of every necessary amino acid your body needs. The finest part, though, comes after. It accomplishes this without overloading your kidneys with nutrients that are more difficult for them to filter. Consider phosphorus. High phosphorus levels can be harmful to kidney sufferers, as we have discussed. Your bones become weaker and more prone to fractures when phosphorus accumulates in the blood and begins to draw calcium away from them. Additionally, It can lead to calcium buildup in your soft tissues and blood vessels, increasing your risk of heart disease, which is already more prevalent in those with renal problems. Skinless chicken breast is a safer choice for your meals because it naturally contains less phosphorus than other animal proteins. Additionally, it has a naturally low salt content. However, this is where caution is necessary. Only when the chicken breast is fresh and unprocessed does it have the reduced sodium benefit. Many store-bought chickens, particularly those that are pre-seasoned or packed with broth, are injected with salty solutions that unknowingly increase your sodium intake. Additionally, kidney patients have a serious problem with salt. It can cause fluid accumulation, increase blood pressure, and strain your kidneys further. Reading the label is crucial because of this. How much then should you eat? 2 to 3 ounces, or about the size of a deck of cards, is an acceptable serving size. Depending on your particular dietary requirements, you can add that 2 or 3 times each week. However, keep in mind that every person's circumstances are different, so it's wise to consult your doctor or dietitian before making any adjustments. Since preparation is where the true difference is made, let's now discuss it. Don't cook or bread your chicken breast if you want it to remain kidney-friendly. That only adds extra calories, sodium, and fat. Rather, use steaming, grilling, or baking. It can be flavored with lemon juice, black pepper, garlic, fresh herbs, and a little olive oil. These basic ingredients maintain its flavor without placing undue strain on your kidneys. Additionally, instead of using bottled sauces, which frequently include excessive levels of salt and preservatives, consider marinating it in natural mixes like lemon, garlic, and olive oil. Choose a fresh, unseasoned chicken breast and seek for packaging that states that there is no additional broth or sodium when you're shopping. These are important terms. Your sodium consumption may increase by hundreds of milligrams without you even noticing if the chicken has been pumped with broth or preservatives. Regarding storage, raw chicken can be frozen for extended periods of time or kept in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. If properly sealed, up to 9 months is acceptable. Cooked chicken should be consumed within 3 to 4 days after being placed in the refrigerator in an airtight container. Last, but not least, avoid rotisserie chicken. It is convenient, really. Yes, it has a wonderful scent. However, that flavor is frequently the result of being saturated in phosphate additions, salty marinades, and preservatives, all of which are precisely what you want to stay away from if you're trying to control your creatinine levels. This also applies to chicken parts that have already been marinated or seasoned. On the appearance, they might appear nutritious, but on the inside, they frequently include chemical preservatives and high sodium levels that gradually harm your health. Therefore, when properly selected and prepared, skinless chicken breast is a nutritious, dependable, and clean protein that works well with a diet that is kidney conscious. It keeps you content, supports your muscles, and spares your body from adding to its already burdensome workload. Let's move on to the third item on our list. This is particularly beneficial if you're taking a more plant-based diet, or if you just want to ease the strain on your kidneys. In all honesty, it's among the most underappreciated sources of protein. We are discussing tofu. In particular, extra firm or hard tofu. When you think of protein, tofu may not be the first thing that springs to mind, particularly if you're accustomed to eating meat or eggs. However, the majority of individuals are unaware of this. When it comes to promoting kidney health, tofu is surprisingly effective. Additionally, it has many advantages over animal proteins. To begin with, because tofu is a plant-based protein, it is inherently less taxing on the kidneys. Plant proteins produce less acid and metabolic waste in the body than animal proteins do. When you're seeking to manage high creatinine or decreased renal function, it means your kidneys won't have to work as hard to filter and neutralize these wastes. One more enormous benefit: phosphorus is naturally low in tofu. Furthermore, phosphorus is one of those nefarious elements that can seriously harm kidney patients, as we previously covered. Over time, phosphorus accumulation in the blood can harm your heart and weaken your bones. Tofu provides a milder substitute for animal proteins, which are often higher in phosphorus, particularly meat and dairy. There's also the fact that tofu contains no saturated fat or cholesterol. Heart health becomes even more crucial for anyone with kidney problems because cardiovascular risks are frequently linked to poor kidney function. Eating tofu benefits your heart and kidneys simultaneously, so it's a win-win situation. Additionally, tofu includes natural plant components called isoflavones that may help lower inflammation in the body. This is a subtle but significant advantage, because chronic inflammation is a typical underlying problem in renal disease patients. Furthermore, tofu has a very low creatine content, so it doesn't raise creatinine levels like red meat or shellfish does. Tofu is frequently suggested in renal diets for this reason. It provides your body with the protein it needs without increasing the amount of creatinine your kidneys are attempting to eliminate. How much should you consume then? About half a cup or 100 grams is a healthy serving size. Depending on your dietary requirements, that is a suitable serving to have 2 to 4 times a week. Tofu's plant-based nature often makes it easier to digest, especially when prepared properly. Let's now discuss how to truly enjoy it. Contrary to popular belief, tofu is essentially a blank canvas that absorbs the flavors you give it. It can be baked, stir-fried, or grilled with a little low-sodium soy sauce and fresh veggies. Additionally, you may mash it into vegetarian patties, scramble it like eggs, or combine it into smoothies. There are countless alternatives. Additionally, firm or extra-firm tofu is easy to cook and gratifying to eat because it maintains its shape nicely. Look for plain, unseasoned tofu that is firm or extra firm when you're buying. Steer clear of the flavored or pre-marinated varieties. They frequently contain a lot of sodium and preservatives that are bad for your kidneys. Choose the basic variety and season it yourself with kidney-friendly spices, lemon juice, garlic, or herbs. To keep tofu fresh, store it in water in the refrigerator after opening the package and replace the water every day. Use it within 3 to 5 days of opening if possible. Tofu can also be frozen if you're buying in bulk or don't use it frequently. Just be aware that it slightly alters the texture, giving it a more sponge-like consistency, something that some people actually appreciate in stir-fries. A little word of caution: while moderate amounts of soy products, such as tofu, are generally acceptable, some types of soy, such soy milk, can have higher potassium content, making them unsuitable for those with more severe kidney disease. Additionally, while moderate tofu consumption is safe and even advantageous for most people, some persons may be sensitive to the hormonal effects of soy isoflavones. What do you think then? Do you currently have a favorite method to eat tofu, or are you open to incorporating it into your meals? Please let us know your thoughts on it. Leave a comment below with your opinions. Your thought might be just what someone else needs to hear today, and you never know. Together, let's gain knowledge. Now let's talk about the top 3 proteins to consume if your creatinine level is elevated. Next on, though, we'll examine the opposing viewpoint. Let's discuss the proteins that you should absolutely stay away from, because the wrong proteins can silently raise your creatinine and accelerate kidney disease, even though the proper proteins can promote your health. Let's begin. And at the top of our list of proteins to stay away from: prepared meats, yes. Hot dogs, pepperoni, deli turkey, bacon, and sausage. Everything. Now, pay close attention before you say, "But I only eat a little," or "It's just part of my weekend breakfast." Because this is a serious matter. This is the reason. These meats are incredibly high in salt. Furthermore, elevated sodium is a serious hazard for someone with kidney issues or high creatinine. Your body retains more fluid when there is an accumulation of sodium in your blood. What is the result of that? Your blood pressure goes up. This is the portion that most people are unaware of. Actually, behind diabetes, high blood pressure is the second most common cause of renal failure. That is a warning, not just a statistic. Your kidneys' small, fragile filters are under tremendous strain each time your blood pressure rises. These filters are harmed over time by this pressure, which makes it more difficult for your kidneys to filter your blood. Furthermore, the harm is frequently irreversible once it has been done. However, it doesn't end there. These meats are also overflowing with phosphorus additions, the kind that enter your system quickly and forcefully, rather than the kind that your body absorbs gradually from entire meals. That is a risky increase that anyone with kidney issues cannot afford. This is the portion that should truly get you thinking. Preservatives, nitrates, and nitrites are abundant in processed meats. These may give the meat its ideal pink hue or smoky flavor, but they actually cause oxidative stress and inflammation inside your body. It would be like adding gasoline to a fire if your kidneys were already having trouble. Furthermore, the majority of these meats are high in saturated fat, which clogs arteries, puts stress on the heart, and makes it more difficult for the kidneys to function. Additionally, it is imperative that you safeguard your heart if you have kidney illness, because cardiovascular risk increases when kidney function declines. Quick. Here's the really bad part. Regular consumption of these meats has been connected to a disorder known as proteinuria. This indicates that protein is seeping into your urine. Your kidneys' improper filtration is a warning sign. Additionally, your kidney function may deteriorate more quickly the longer it is left untreated. Therefore, consider whether that piece of ham is truly worth it. Is the chance of accelerating the failure of your kidneys worth that morning sausage? We understand that hearing this may be difficult, particularly if you have been eating these items regularly for years. It's not just about reducing, though. It all comes down to choosing to shield your kidneys from the subtle harm that occurs with each meal. Let's listen to you now. Did you consume processed meats without really thinking about it? Or are you going to exclude them from your diet now that you've heard all of this? Tell us where you stand by leaving a comment below. Your modest action might serve as the catalyst for someone else to begin adopting better habits. Now that we've discussed processed meats, let's go directly to the second protein on our list that damages the kidneys. This one may surprise you because it's commonly regarded as a show of affluence and strength. But for your kidneys, it's a burden they simply cannot bear. In particular, organ meats like liver and kidneys are being discussed, along with red meats like beef, lamb, and pork. Here's the truth. Even if you may adore that delicate pork chop or juicy steak, these meals may subtly undermine all of your efforts to improve your excessive creatinine levels. Creatine is one of the main issues with red meat. As previously stated, creatinine is a waste product derived from the chemical creatine. Can you determine where high concentrations of creatine are found? Yes, it is found in animal muscles, and red meats like lamb, cattle, and hog are rich in it. This is when it becomes problematic. Your body absorbs that creatine when you cook or consume foods high in muscle, such as lamb shanks, steaks, or ribs. Your body automatically converts it to creatinine once it's inside. In other words, your body has more raw material to produce more creatinine if you eat more red meat. And that additional accumulation just exacerbates the situation if your kidneys are already having trouble keeping up, but it doesn't end there. Additionally, red meats are high in saturated fat, which raises the risk of heart disease and causes inflammation in the body. And here's something you should be aware of. When kidney disease is present, cardiovascular problems are already a serious risk. These two systems have a close relationship. One is harmed while the other is harmed. Let's now discuss hemi-iron, which is the type of iron present in red meat. Iron is necessary for good health, but too much heme iron can cause oxidative stress, particularly in those who have kidney issues. An internal rusting process is analogous to oxidative stress. It harms tissues, cells, and your kidneys, which are already at risk. There are other organ meats. Some cultures may view liver, kidney, and even brain as delicacy. However, these foods are dangerous for someone with kidney problems. They have extremely high levels of phosphorus, purines, and even stored poisons. Regular consumption of these can hasten the deterioration of renal function, raise uric acid, and increase inflammation. Additionally, they can easily cause excruciating flare-ups of gout, which is something you should definitely avoid if your kidneys are under pressure. Therefore, if red meat has been a staple on your plate, it may be time to reconsider that practice. Consider whether you desire long-term health or temporary taste, because red meat damage to your kidneys accumulates gradually, and it's frequently too late by the time symptoms appear. Let's go on to number 3, which may surprise seafood enthusiasts. Shrimp, crab, and lobster are examples of shellfish that can appear exquisite on a dish. However, anyone with kidney issues or a high creatinine level faces a serious risk behind that gleam. This is the reason. Purines are abundant in shellfish by nature. Additionally, purines are converted to uric acid by the organism. However, what is elevated uric acid? Gout, kidney stones, and further strain on your already overworked kidneys are all possible outcomes of that. Additionally, this additional strain can raise creatinine levels even further, similar to red meat. Additionally, shellfish have moderate to high cholesterol levels, which is something you cannot overlook if you're attempting to protect both your heart and kidneys at the same time. The perfect storm is created when you consider that a lot of shellfish dishes are either fried, canned, or pre-seasoned with a lot of sodium and preservatives. Here's something even more concerning, though. Certain shellfish, particularly those that are imported, may contain heavy metals like cadmium and mercury. Over time, these poisons can subtly contaminate your system, causing damage that is particularly harmful if your kidneys aren't functioning properly. So, reconsider that platter of crab legs coated in butter or that basket of fried shrimp. Even though these treats can feel good right away, the long-term costs to your kidneys are simply too high. How about you? Have you frequently eaten shellfish or red meats? Now that you are aware of their effects on your kidneys, do you intend to reduce them? Please leave a remark below. Your opinions are welcome, and you could even encourage someone else to adopt a better lifestyle. There you have it, the 3 proteins you should absolutely stay away from, and the 3 that are best to include in your diet if you have excessive creatinine or any other kidney problems. Please like this video if you thought it was useful, so that more people who actually need this information can see it. Give it to family members or friends who are dealing with elevated creatinine levels. For more lucid, useful films that complement your renal health journey, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the upcoming video.